Good. Thank you very much, Ashok. I'm from Waterford Institute of Technology in Ireland, which is a third-level academic institution, and I'm very happy to be here with you today to present the project that I coordinate, which is named IncoTrust. So first I'll start with some background on the project and how it came about. Then I'll present some materials on the project, and I'll present very briefly some of the priority areas of the Trustworthy ICT area in Framework Program 7, and then I'll talk about what's next, which as Ashok mentioned before, is the EU-India aspects. As background to the project, I always smile when I put this slide up because it sort of reminds me of my flight trackings since I began coordinating IncoTrust. But thanks to the Euro-India Spirit project, I have a new flight track line here between Dublin and Hyderabad, and which, from what I learned yesterday, and because of the project, which I'll mention later, it's the first of many. So it's a connected world, so there's connected exposure, and the research communities need to work together in order to find ways of protecting against the bad guys out there. And for the EU perspective looks very much, as Nicole has just said, at the societal aspects. So, we look at trust, we look at privacy, usability, reliability, governance, etc., etc. And trust is an end-to-end attribute, and the cyber attacks are attacking the entire trust chain. And the trust chain is global. So, for problems and solutions, for governance and enforcement, and hence for cooperation. And so the data for both services and for the data that's that the attackers are trying to to hack into, and the information society runs on data, and it doesn't really come with borders. So, and we look at all the data elements: the acquisition, the dissemination, storage, and the management and usage. So, just a bit of a history on the project itself. We were in the final quarter of a project in the EU about 3 years ago, and it wasn't related to international cooperation. And the European Commission and the National Science Foundation had come together for an ICT event, and fortunately a number of the people from the unit looking at trust and security on the US and from the EU came together, and they were discussing the projects in each of their units, and found that there was some similarity, and that there were some stronger points in the US than network security, for example, whereas in the EU there were stronger points on societal security, privacy, trust. So, and unbeknownst to myself and the project we were involved in, right at that same time we asked for a no-cost extension, which sometimes happens at the end of projects to finish off some work. And so the European Commission said, yes, we will grant this to you, but if and only if you host a EU-US conference specifically on trust and security, which we did in Dublin, in Ireland. And so one of the recommendations of this event was that some project or catalyst should be formed in order to drive the work, to bring together both the program management people and the researchers, try to find ways of aligning the programs, or aligning funding mechanisms, and so on. So anyway, we decided then to put a proposal in to do this, but we decided that we would, we felt it was, it was too narrow just to have the EU and the US. So we included Canada, Korea, Japan, Australia in the Inco Trust project. Okay, so the Inco Trust project falls within the coordination action area, which is similar, which is the same type of an action as Eurospirit India, which Ashok presented. So, and the area that we're coordinating is trying to find recommendations and road mapping for ICT trust and security across the various countries and trying to align work programs. So the objectives of the project are we have this methodology where we involve both the program management, so by that I mean funding bodies, and the researchers. And the reason this is so successful is because they sort of feed from one another. When you have the program management there, the researchers are on their best behavior and they work quite hard. And then likewise when the program management see the researchers behaving this way, you want to do things better. So that's a very important part of our methodology. Then we're prioritizing the vision and research directions in ICT trust and security and aligning of the work programs and the calls. What we found when the project started was there was no alignment with the work programs. Sometimes the U.S. Funding bodies had things that were better. Sometimes the EU were better. Sometimes Australia had something that was better. So it's trying to find a model that everyone can work towards. Then we're also facilitating the technical and program level catalyzation for engagement. So it's organizing the networking events, the workshops, and keeping them very results oriented. So again, similar to EU-India Spirit, where there's intensive working sessions during the workshops, and not just talking shops. And then sort of trying to harmonize what the researchers are doing. Again, dedicated results-oriented workshops on trust and security. So we have a number of workshop reports, which you can find on the internet site. And this work is being used to shape the future European Mission calls. So the researchers that are involved with us can benefit quite substantially by trying to get their messages across to the European Commission as to where they should fund in the future. So our progress is we've had quite a number of visits with the program management and the researchers in the countries, and we helped provide one of the things that the European Commission decided to do based on our project was they had what was called Objective 9.2 in the last two previous calls. And now this was quite out of the ordinary, because normally every proposal has to be this very long and arduous template that's followed. So what they did with this objective was it was a supplemental, and it was specifically for ICT trust and security objective. And you could do with this was you could have a supplemental proposal which was only 10 pages long, and you propose that if you had international cooperation, it would benefit the project. You would have to explain this, of course, very well in the 10 pages, and they would then fund or not fund based on the evaluation. And it was specifically for holding workshops between the countries and the travel involved and research visits. So it was. But we sort of see this as a positive thing, but at the same time, we would like to see it further, where the the work programs would be completely aligned, and we would have joint projects and funding from one or the other side or from both sides. At the same time, the European Commission really went out of their way to try this out and see see how it would work, and it has worked quite well. There's a number of these INCO supplemental projects running. So we've had